Hi, and thank you for joining me. My name's Lorraine. Uh, we have a battle going on in the U.S. right now, and it is a spiritual battle. And the reason that I wanted to make this video is even looking at some of President Trump's tweets. It's just after the election. It's November 7th. It's 4 in the morning for me. Looking at some of President Trump's tweets even. The election is undecided still. He seems to be, as a writer, I've noticed he's I'm picking up he's faltering in his tweets on hopefulness. I'm seeing it with other people. The Lord has declared this battle is won, that Trump will serve a second term, but I'm seeing the hesitation. So I wanted to be able to demonstrate to you an exercise in how to have faith with works. I've been basically a trainer all my life. I learned how to do something, and I want to be able to teach somebody else, how to do it efficiently, easier. So that's what we're going to focus on today. But I wanted to start off. We are going to take the story of Joshua and the fall of Jericho as our guiding point and basically as our initial guide. But I want to start reading to you from Joshua chapter 5, starting with verse 13. I don't have a lot of high-tech equipment here, but in what I do, I haven't had the time to figure it all out. So all this is getting recorded from my phone at the moment. Sorry about the inconvenience. We're doing picture props. But before we begin, picture prop number 1. Fair use disclaimer. It seems backwards. Wow, that's interesting. Either way, this presentation was created following the fair use guidelines for educational multimedia. Any of the props that I use are for educational purposes only, and I'm not making any money off of this video. I don't care about likes or followers. I'm not trying to build a following on this. This is strictly for educational purposes. Alright, so the fall of Jericho. Now when Joshua was near Jericho, he looked up and saw a man standing in front of him with a drawn sword in his hand. Joshua went up to him and asked, "Are you for us or for our enemies?" "Neither," he replied, "but as commander of the army of the Lord, I have now come." Then Joshua fell face down to the ground in reverence and asked him, "What message does my Lord have for his servant?" The commander of the Lord's army replied, "Take off your sandals, for the place where you stand is holy." And so Joshua did. Now the gates of Jericho were securely barred because of the Israelites. No one went in, and no one came out. Then the Lord said to Joshua, "See, I have delivered Jericho into your hands, along with its king and its fighting men. March around the city once with all the armed men. Do this for 6 days. Have 7 priests carry trumpets of ram's horns in front of the ark. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times, with the priests blowing the trumpets. When you hear them sound a long blast on the trumpets, have the whole army give a shout. Then the walls of the city will collapse and the army will go up straight in. Everyone straight in." So Joshua, son of Nun, called the priest and said to them, "Take up the ark of the covenant of the Lord and have 7 priests carry trumpets in front of it." And he ordered the army, "Advance, march around the city with an armed guard going ahead of the ark of the Lord." When Joshua had spoken to the people, the 7 priests carrying 7 trumpets before the Lord went forward blowing their trumpets, and the ark of the Lord's covenant followed them. The armed guards marched ahead of the priest, who blew the trumpets, and the rear guard followed the ark. All this time the trumpets were sounding, but Joshua had commanded the army, "Do not give a war cry. Do not raise your voices. Do not say a word until the day I tell you to shout. Then shout." So he had the ark of the Lord carried around the city, circling it once. Then the army returned to camp and spent the night there. Joshua got up early the next morning, and the priests took up the ark of the Lord. The 7 priests carrying the 7 trumpets went forward, marching before the ark of the Lord and blowing the trumpets. The armed men went ahead of them, and the rear guard followed the ark of the Lord, while the trumpets kept sounding. So on the 2nd day they marched around the city once and returned to the camp. They did this for 6 days. On the 7th day they got up at daybreak and marched around the city 7 times in the same manner. Except on that day they circled the city 7 times. The 7th time around, when the priest sounded the trumpet blast, Joshua commanded the army, "Shout, for the Lord has given you the city. The city and all that is in it are to be devoted to the Lord. Only Rahab the prostitute and all who are with her in her house shall be spared, because she hid the spies we sent. But keep away from the devoted things, so that you will not bring about your own destruction by taking any of them. Otherwise you will make the camp of Israel liable to destruction and bring trouble on it. All the silver and gold and the articles of bronze and iron are sacred to the Lord and must go into his treasury." All right, that is the story of Joshua. Now, we need to learn how to have faith with works, and we're going to use this as our guiding point. We got a battle going on, a spiritual battle. Keep in mind, our battle is not against flesh and blood. We are not attacking anyone here. We are not attacking anyone here. Our battle is against spirits, principalities, and powers. One of the spirits and principalities, Molech. And this here is from a picture of the actual statue of Molech, where there is apparently a temple in California that I just learned about this morning through my Google search, just from looking him up. I did not know that. But yes, we have even a temple of Molech in California. Molech is most famous for back in Hebrew times, he's the Canaanite god associated with child sacrifice through fire or war. And he is a dominant spirit, principality, and power in this nation. Back in his time, and I shudder to even talk about it, but his extended arms, back in ancient times, he was basically created as a fancy fire pit. Arms extended, and they would set live babies on those hot irons. I don't even want to think about the screams. But I would definitely imagine the smell of cooked human flesh could probably be smelled for miles, especially on a windy day. Just the thought of him is an abomination. It truly is. And we have a temple in California. Not only that, but the practice of child sacrifice. They they think they are silencing the cry. Because we don't hear the cry, they say it's okay, but they're attacking the babies in the womb now. They're still crying, and God hears that cry. Now, we don't have time to go through all of the spirits and principalities, so we're going to sum it up just with one more. Legion, we're not even going to do him the honor of giving him a face. Just a reminder that the Lord is in control, and he commands even the spirits, principalities, and powers. And that's to remind them of the time that they asked to be sent into a herd of swine. And the swine couldn't stand it, and they all killed themselves. So these are the spirits, principalities, and powers we are up against. And the funny thing about these are, our enemies are kind of like evil time lords. They have appeared and disappeared throughout history. They're always looking to revamp themselves. They always show up with a new exotic face. And they seduce the people. They don't come bearing fangs and teeth a lot of the times. They come in disguise, in many ways, as an angel of light. And that's how they deceive the people. If you've ever heard of Mark Taylor, he's often described, when you know these people are under their influence, you can tell when they're under their influence. He describes them as being on Satan's wavelength. But you know they're under their influence when you try to talk to them soundly, and not only do they automatically reject it. They don't even give you the chance to explain. It's just automatic rejection. There's no discussion. Well, if being on Satan's frequency or wavelength is too complicated for you, then you can think of it as being under the vampire's thrall. It's mind control. It is. And that's why you can't break through them. That's why you can't break through. You can't communicate with them. And this is happening today. This is the guise that they are under, the Democratic Party. Now, I'm not saying the Democrats are bad. But this is the disguise they are using. There are a lot of good people in the Democratic Party really working to make America a better place. But they have been infiltrated. They have been taken over. And it's not by flesh and blood, but it's by spirits, principalities, and powers. So I want to show you through the story of Joshua how to take back that control through faith and through works. And honestly, it's as simple as child's play. And to make it even more fun, because God doesn't like it when we put limits on him. We're not putting no limits on God today. We are going to walk on water. We are going to command the wind. And we are going to do some time travel. The time travel thing is something quite interesting, I actually came across the other day watching Sid Roth. That's Supernatural. All right. The Jewish, and I'll just explain it to you as simply as they did. The Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, I have trouble speaking because of my dentures. I can mess things up quite easily. It began Friday, September 18th, 2019. 2020. That's when the Jewish New Year began. God's time is ahead of us. The rest of the world, the secular world, the Gentile world, we don't catch up until January 1st. So right now we're in this opportune window to where you can time travel in faith and in the prophetic. And we can use that to our advantage in exercising our faith. We're also going to walk on water too, and command the wind. Now you don't need visuals for this, but it helps to have visuals. I'm going to kick off my shoes here because the spirit angel of the Lord commanded Joshua to take off his shoes, because he was standing on holy ground. Okay, plug my phone here. Let's see. Move my chair out of the way. Like I said, it's child's play. It's simple. We get our images. First we have Molech and Legion. This is the powers we are up against. So I'm going to lay those on the floor. We have the mask that they wear. The Democratic Party. We're going to lay that on top because that's their mask. Then we have the United States of America. Now, in walking on water, we're going to be doing this figuratively. But if you look around, all right, most of the undecided states, this here's from the presidential map that they showed of the electoral votes, what's came in, what's not. A lot of the places that were overwhelmingly for Biden are along the coastline. Ooh, I got a gnat flying on there. We can't walk on the borders, so you have to walk in the ocean to get to them. So figuratively, we are going to walk on water. We're going to walk around a continent. And you can do this. We're going to lay this over the donkey because we want the entire United States. And remember, we're not going to harm this. In no way are we going to harm this. We're not going to wish ill on it because Rahab, I ran out of red ink. Rahab would represent a lot of the yellow, which should be red in this, for the red ribbon, the red cord that she had hanging out. There are Rahabs scattered throughout, even in the blue states, or in my picture gray. But there are red dots scattered throughout there. So we're not wishing ill harm on anybody. Because Rahab was promised that she would survive. Last but not least, now I already tried this before. I can't, while I'm on my recording, I can't focus down for some reason. I'm still not tech savvy. We have a tropical storm heading towards Florida. And this is where we're going to command the winds. Because this paper is going right beside Florida. Not only are we going to command the winds, we're going to kick the wind. We're going to kick that tropical storm back out to sea. Enough. No more tropical storm. Simple as that. We're exercising our faith. Now, with each passing, it is Saturday, which is a good day to start. It is also because it is the Jewish Sabbath has begun. Saturday, we will walk around the United States. We're walking on water. We're exercising our faith. And we're going to blow the shofar while we walk around once. And we're going to time travel too. Because instead of making 7 videos, we're going to do this in one. And we are in we're working in the prophetic, so we can work ahead through time. We're not putting any limits on the Lord. I wish I could focus down for this, but my phone won't let me. All right. Sound the horns. We're walking around the United States. That's Saturday. Now we rest. Sunday, we take up the shofar. We are encircling the United States. Sunday is done. We rest. Jumping ahead to Monday. Sounding the shofar. Monday is done. Moving ahead to Tuesday. Tuesday's done. Moving ahead to Wednesday. Wednesday's done. Moving to Thursday. Thursday's done. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday. Friday, we are to march around 7 times and blow the shofar. Only this time, though, we're not appointed Joshua. We are not Joshua. The Lord has his Joshua appointed. We are not that. So we're not going to shout just yet until Joshua says to shout. And when the time comes, we'll know who that is. And we'll probably be shouting for joy during that time because we'll have victory. But we're going to sound the shofar and march around the United States 7 times. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 'and that is it. It's really as simple as that. We are not putting any restrictions on the Lord. It's as easy as child's play. And we're multitasking. That helps out. We are working in the prophetic and working in with the now. We are celebrating what has been promised, claiming it as if it has already come to pass, ushering it in.